Okay, welcome everybody. We are live today on Wednesday morning, afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Hold on one second, Jay. Let me just mute. I got Facebook Live going behind me. Awesome. So, guys, today's topic, we're going to continue talking about the turmoil in the MLM industry and everything that's going on. With the FTC ruling, with Herbalife and Vemma, and how it's affecting the entire industry, and there's a lot to talk about. This has been going on for 4 years, and it's just important. If you're a network marketer, if you're a multi-level marketer, it's important to know this information, because obviously, if you are in this industry, you're looking to either build a part-time income or a full-time income, and it's really, really, really important to educate yourself, because the waters are going to get rough these next couple months, leading to a couple years with all these changes coming up. So you really, really want to be prepared. So as you start to look at the lawsuit and the settlement and things that are going on, one of the other pieces that the FTC is asking companies to have, this is coming down the pipeline in the FTC guidelines, is having your company have 2 agreements. One for people that want to build the business, distributors, reps, consultants, whatever your company calls them, and then people who want to just sign up or enroll just to be a customer. And again, some people look at that and might say, "Oh, that sounds silly. That's not, anything major." But again, what's the whole reason? What's the whole driving force behind this whole settlement? Is FTC wants real customers buying real products, so they want a company to be able to determine who are their customers versus who are their just distributors, who are their reps, consultants, right? Because when you start to take a look at the landscape, a lot of these companies, most of the companies' customers are distributors. There's not a lot of just actual customers there. I'm not saying every company, but that is the majority there. So the FTC is starting to put these little fine things in place. It might seem like a little minute detail, but they want to be able to figure that out, right? I mean, Jay, when they were asking the CEO of Herbalife how much of the product moves to customers versus how much is distributed, he was baffled. He didn't know. He didn't have an answer for them. So again, they were being brought up on pyramid scheme charges, and they want to know is how much of the products actually moving to customers versus just distributors and getting stuck and actually never really moving to an end line consumer. So I think this is going to be a big piece, and starting to see some companies trying to make this change, but really to be able to make a distinction of who's customers and who are, who's in it for the money to make a business out of it, and who's really in it just to buy the product. So I don't know, Jay, anything else you want to add on that topic there?
No, I mean, that's how they're going to be able to prove whether there's a larger percentage of people buying the products just for consumption reasons compared to qualifying for bonuses.
Yeah. I mean, guys, if you look at it, they want to be able to track exactly how much is sold each month to end-line consumers versus distributors. So you want to ask yourself that. Go through your enrollment process. Is there a separate process if somebody just wants to be a customer? Is there if you're enrolling somebody face-to-face, or there are 2 pieces of paper, one that distinctly says that this person just wants to be a customer? And if you look at the rulings and what's been going on with Herbalife and Vemma, they're asking these companies to have, now it's over 60% of their sales just coming from end-line consumers, people that aren't making any money, that aren't in it for the opportunity. And they're not saying distributors who are in it that aren't making any money. They're talking about people that actually signed up just to be a customer, where they are not in it for the income side of things. And again, guys, if you look at that, if you have a business that's got 60, 70% just people consuming as customers, that's what the FTC wants. They want real customers. They understand that we need distributors, that we need reps, of course, that's how the marketing side, that's how the customers are going to get acquired to the company. But they don't want the larger portion just being distributors, reps, and consultants. Otherwise, they're saying it's not a real business. It's a money game. It's a pyramid scheme. It's just, there's a product in there to make it legal, and it's just a way of moving money around. But if you have over 60% of people just really consuming the products just because they want the products, then they consider that to be a real business. And the way they're going to do this is they want to know, who are the customers? Who are the distributors? And you need to have a really, really, really good separation on that. So I think that's one of the questions you should ask yourself is, does my company have two agreements or two different enrollment processes, one to distinctly decide somebody's just a business builder or somebody's a customer? And if not, you want to start to question, maybe talk to the company and kind of start to fill that out. And again, as we mentioned in some of our past lives that we've been doing this past week, these companies, they're aware of all this, guys. They're aware of all this information that's coming down the pipeline. The DSA, everybody involved there is all aware of this information. It's just a lot of them are just kind of sitting and playing the waiting game and just kind of hanging out and saying, hey, like, Jay, you mentioned on one of the live we did on Monday was they know that if they have a 2-year run, and they make multi-millions of dollars in it, and then they shut down, they're fine, but they don't realize that, and some of them might, but that they're putting everybody else at risk as well, not just themselves, but all of the distributors and the reps and the consultants involved that through and behind the company, right?
Absolutely.
So, I don't know anything else, Jay. I mean, guys, I think today we're going to keep it a little short. It's a really clear, a very clear distinction that you need to have here. Again, just look at your business. Take the emotion out of it. Look at your business and say, I mean, is there the FTC really wants to know, is there really true value to just be a consumer, just to buy the products, whether they're making money or not, whether there's a financial gain or not? And unfortunately, when you look at a lot of these companies, they have great products, but the products don't compete versus the marketplace. Sometimes they're 1 to 2, 3 times the price versus what somebody can get out in the marketplace. And I think that's the way the FTC can justify is if the pricing is on point, is you would have a large amount of people just being customers that aren't in it just for the business. So you want to look at that. And, this is all even though this lawsuit has been going on for 4 years, the settlement happened a year ago, because this is all still new. Things are being settled out, and you're going to start to see the landscape starting to change. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of people in the industry talking about this information. I mean, Jay, I don't know if I'm online a lot, you're online. I don't see anybody else talking about this information.
I mean, I talk to a lot of leaders all the time. So as you do, Eric, and many of us in our business, and the fear that I think a lot of leaders have in all these different companies, and it's a true fear, and it should be a fear, is they know the majority of the people that are ordering in their business are ordering because of a financial gain or the promise of a financial gain. And that's the problem. That is exactly what the FTC does not want. And that's, again, the fine line between a pyramid scheme and a legitimate business. Because if you look at any legitimate business outside of the home-based business industry, every single product that's ever purchased from a store or for whatever, it's reported by the online consumer buying that product or that service monthly. And in multi-level marketing, it's the only industry out there that dictates and actually calculates their sales based on products that might have never ended up to the online consumer. And that's where lies the problem, the huge problem. And the FTC for years, the Direct Selling Association has argued the fact that that we should be able to pay on distributors ordering volume because of personal consumption. And they're not playing around with that game anymore. They're not playing around with the game that, if Jeff or Mary orders $2,000, you can't say, oh, our family ate $2,000 worth of Herbalife. Our family ate $2,000 worth of weight loss products. Or, I remember being in Herbalife trainings where they said, if you have a family of 4, if each person in the family is not using $500 worth of products a month, then you're not really a good distributor because you're not converting your home. And I remember sitting there going, now looking back going, that's insane. That is beyond insane that they were teaching people of a family of 4 to 5 that if you weren't eating $2,000 worth of products a month, then you weren't really a good distributor. And that's exactly what the FTC does not want anymore. They're going to limit the personal consumption for a reasonable personal consumption that a normal person would use of those type of products. And the FTC is done with that. And this is the way, I'm going to read this. This is the way that the FTC is solving this issue once and for all, with the requirement that all MLMs need to track how much of their product is sold to the online consumer as compared to how much ends up in distributors' inventories, because they're not buying any longer that you are consuming, you and your family, thousands of dollars worth of products a month, because that is not real. And we know that's not real because you can see the basements full of products that people have. No one eats that much worth of products. There's only so many shakes you can drink or use or skin products. So what's very interesting about this is that this is a very simple concept. And you might say, if you're in a company right now, well, that's simple. I'm going to have 2 agreements. The company's going to have 2 agreements. That's no big issue. Well, then the second thing that's going to happen after you do have 2 agreements is now the real statistics are now going to be shown. And then we're going to really know what that ratio is. See, and if your company right now doesn't have 2 agreements, I'm going to take a wild guess. And I'm not the smartest guy on the planet, but I'm going to take one wild guess. It's probably because they know they don't have a 60-40 ratio, or they don't have a 70-30% ratio. They don't have 70% customers, 30% distributors. They probably have the opposite, 70% consuming because they're chasing the dream, and 30% that are doing their friends and family a favor to be a customer for a few months. And if they don't have those 2 agreements in place, I'm almost going to state this point that they probably know that by having those 2 agreements, it's just going to show them that they're more of a pyramid scheme than they already are. And I'm going to be that blunt and honest because that's what it comes down to. This isn't maybe the FTC requires this. This is a mandatory across the board. If you want to make sure that your company is not on the hit list, they need 2 agreements, period, over and out. And if your company doesn't have it, I then would question the company and say, why don't we have it? And then my thought process would be, well, maybe this is not going to be a long-term business model. And then my second question is, well, then maybe it would really just share the statistics that we probably already know that's true. And that's my 2 cents for the day.
Yeah. I mean, Jay, remember back when we were talking to a lot of people who were in Monavie, right? And they were raving about the team that had broken all these records, fastest to Black Diamond and all these people. And these people were buying 12 cases a month. They were buying. Wow.
Fastest.
Yeah.
Fastest to Black Diamond, because I mean, Eric, think about it. Why have everybody come in for a case if you can have everyone come in for 12 cases? You need customers compared to one person. Why not just do 12? I mean, I would imagine that the second best way to fastest way to get to Black Diamond was don't do 12 cases, do 24. I bet you can do it in half the amount of time.
Yeah. Where people are taking baths of Monavie pretty much.
Unbelievable.
Because what are you going to do with all that juice after a while?
It's unbelievable. And when you think about it, and I know this is, but I want you guys to understand this. The FTC is really making sure that it's reasonable personal consumption. And the break-even point in an MLM company is doing between 120 to 300 a month. That's what makes money move from one person's pocket to a next. And the juices really should only be about $10 a bottle. But the problem is, to get up to 120 a month, you would need 12 bottles at $10 a bottle. You need 12 bottles to create 120 a month in volume. Well, no one drinks 12 bottles a month. You're only going to drink about 1 a week. So then just make the bottles $30 a bottle, because 30 times 4 is now 120. So now you have the consumption because it's 1 bottle per week, but then you have a fictitious buying point, which we're going to talk about in the next slide to come. You don't have a real product that competes in the marketplace. So all of this is coming to a head. And I'm telling you, it's going to be very interesting, Eric, over the next 24 months to 60 months, what is going to happen. And I really think, as I said, there's already a list. It's just a matter of what pecking order they want to start with. And I think they're going to start with the big dogs first.
Yeah.
We already see that happening. And now we see Arbonne that was just brought up on pyramid scheme charges by distributors. How do you think the FTC is going to get aware of all this stuff? Because they're in the media. Well, our $2,500 a month buy-ins, they're paying people on distributors purchasing that volume. Don't tell me you're consuming $2,500 a month worth of skincare, or at one point. That's the most ridiculous thing. That's what they're going to clean up.
Yeah.
One thing, just because your company doesn't have thousands of dollars a month worth of buy-ins, and they only have $1,000 buy-in when they first start, or 500, that they're okay. No, that's still not a reasonable consumed amount. Mm-hmm. It all comes down to everybody. So make sure they have 2 agreements. And if they don't have 2 agreements, I'd be really, really curious why. And number 2, I don't even think you'd have to ask why. I think it's quite obvious why, based on what we just talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, guys, sometimes be a little leery about just what the company's telling you. A lot of people say, well, we have this percentage, we have that percentage. But, I mean, like Jason just said, that's clear. Like if you have an agreement, you're going to, the companies feels good enough to say that we're in alignment, that we can meet those qualifications. But there's a lot of companies that can't. I mean, we saw it when Herbalife was, when the settlement happened, and we would talk, we talked to reps and distributors in all different MLM companies. And I remember talking to one of them, and she said, she's like, yeah, I've been a distributor for a while. She's like, I haven't done anything in probably like a year. I'm still active or whatever. But, and she's like, yeah, it's funny. I just got a call yesterday from, it was somewhere out of the country. They outsourced it, but they were calling distributors that haven't been active in a while and getting them to flip over to be a customer.
Yep.
Just flipping over, signing agreements saying that you waive your right to make money and all that, just to try to meet those qualifications that the FTC was pressing upon them. So just to show you how serious it is, that Herbalife was really doing whatever they can to meet those qualifications, guys, because the FTC is not playing around. And look, there are hundreds and hundreds of MLM companies out there. So you could be sitting there and saying, hey, I mean, there's so many out there, who could be next? But you never know. I mean, for me, if it was putting food on my table or some extra money in the household or whatever it was, I would not want to play Russian roulette with that. I'd want to be really, really, really clear, and then see if I could help my company make a change and make a difference. And if not, then I'd have to start second guessing and start revisiting that and saying, hey, if I do want to stay in this industry, I need to find something that's compliant.
And Eric, when we think about it, I don't know if you're a leader watching this, you have to really look at the repercussions of really what's taking place here. Let's say you have a distributor. Let's just take Herbalife, for instance, or Shackley, or any type of, there's a lot of them, right? There's a lot of companies, a lot of big companies. If they don't have 70% or 66% wiggle room from the company standpoint, 70% distributor, and the distributor does not verify that how that volume got distributed, the upline is not paid. The support team's not paid. Think about how many people this is going to affect. Not only does that person doesn't submit their sales for the month and where the sales went, wholesale, distributors, customers, personal consumption, no more saying you ate $2,000. That's going to do from the bottom.
Roll right downhill.
It's good. This is significant. The company won't be able to pay out on that volume if it's not in guidelines to what the FTC wants. This is a huge change. And I don't think most people are understanding how huge it is, Eric. And
no, they're not. And Jay, if you look at real business, look at regular business. You have a manufacturer that makes something, and let's say they send it out to like a wholesaler who buys a bunch of it because they know they have a retail chain. And so that wholesale chain would never buy just a bunch that they're never going to sell to a chain to get to a real customer, because it wouldn't make sense. They'd be losing money. Right? That's real business. Real business moves. They buy it and they move it on, and it keeps going down the line until it gets to a real inline customer that wants that product. Because otherwise, there's no reason for them to buy the product. That wholesaler, that person.
And then, Eric, you look at the major retailers like Costco's or BJ's. It's on consignment. They only order as they need.
Yeah.
They don't even have.
You got the MLM industry where people are ordering and just garages full and closets full and rooms full and. So it's just, guys, it's real clear what the FTC is doing. And, you know, I mean, I'm subscribed to a lot of channels on Facebook, and I see a lot of leaders and networkers talking. They're all still talking the same thing, that, you know, we need leads, we need to generate leads. And it's still the whole same conversation, that like nothing is going on. So what I would do if I were you is just educate yourself. There's a lot of information out there that you can get, that and research this, research the lawsuit and the settlement and what's coming, and stay on top of it, guys. And that's what we're doing, and we'll educate from here. So if you want to stay tuned into our lives, you know, we're going live every Monday. I have it written down here, every Monday, 3:30 Eastern time, 12:30 Pacific, and every Wednesday and Friday, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific. And on this live video there, you should see a notification, or actually even when this ends, to say get notifications. So you can get notifications when we do go live. But tune in here, wherever you want to go to get your information, just make sure that you are being educated. So guys, that's really all we have for you today. Let's go out and have a great rest of the week. We'll see you guys on Friday as well. And we're coming into Labor Day, right? This is Labor Day weekend, the end of the summer for what most people would consider. And then we kick off probably some of the best months for networking, you know, September, October, November, going into the holidays. So, you know, enjoy the rest of the week and enjoy the end of the summer. Just one quick thing here. Amy said, gentlemen, are these recorded? These are all Facebook Live. So you can just go to facebook.com/timeandfreedom, facebook.com/timeandfreedom, this business page. And you can just scroll down the news feed here, scroll down our page, and you will see all of the lives. They stay recorded right here on the page. So feel free to share them with anybody. You know, feel free to share them on your page if you're connected to other networkers. I mean, I think this is information that people need to hear. Yes, it's important to generate leads. Yes, it's important to do all that. And we're going to be talking about all different stuff when it comes to the building these type of businesses. But right now, this is big information, and nobody's talking about it. So we hope you guys got some good value, and we enjoy being here with you today. Everybody enjoy the rest of the day, and we will see you on Friday.
Take care, everybody.